Hi everyone, this is Darren with SimNation. Today is the WWPF draft. I will be kicking this off shortly. I just got to do a couple things real quick and we should be good. Okay, so let's go here. This is which season? 2056. Okay, so I think we are good. Let me import all the teams. Just make sure we got, and that way I can write down who has imported. 1 second. Do we do this real quick? Just bear with me one moment. I processed the draft trades before I imported. So for those of you joining, it'll just be a minute and we'll have the game up. I made a mistake where I processed the draft picks before processed the trades before I actually imported, which I know better than that. So just 1 second. Oops, I want to do this. And there we go. And hopefully everything looks good on the screen and you can see it okay. Hey, Peter. So there is a trade for the first round. I will process it real quick as well as a couple other ones. So let's do this first. Okay, so Washington has a list. San Diego has a list. Minnesota has a list. Chicago has a list. Dallas has a list. Cleveland has a list, although Bio's around. LA has a list. I'm not in the first round, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm going to process trades real quick. So just give me a second. Just go to, it doesn't matter. Trade players. So we'll do the first trade because that's the second trade is dependent on it. Hey DWK. So it's between Pittsburgh and New York. Okay. So New York will send wide receiver Adrian Torres and where is he? Joseph Mansfield to Pittsburgh for their first round this year, the first round next year, and the second round next year. So that's all good. Got both players, submit trade. The New York Jets will now send their stuff to, just make sure we're good. We are. We'll now send their first round pick, the Cardinals' first round pick, the Steelers' first round pick, Cardinals' second round, the 5th round pick. Just double check and make sure. Yeah, it's the Jets. And then next year they are sending for 2057 the 3rd round of Arizona. So their 2nd round next year. So Jets 2nd round, Steelers 2nd round. And the 3rd and 4th, so Arizona's 3rd. And then the 4th round pick. Let me double check and make sure that looks right. Hey, invisible witness. Hey, Mike. Just double check this, make sure we're good. So first, so 3 first rounders this year, 2nd rounder, 5th rounder, that's all right. 2 2nd rounders next year, a 3rd and a 4th. Okay, I think we're good. Oops. And submit trade. So they will now have the first pick of this year's draft. Let me go here real quick. None. It's not going to matter because it's going to revert anyways. Okay, so we are ready for the draft. I am going to go ahead and play the music. So bear with me, and then we will be underway. Advance. Hey, JC. Okay, so we'll pause the draft. Okay, welcome to the 2056 draft, everyone. Before the Jets make their selection, just quick overview. A couple firsts this year. This is the first year that the FCS will be represented in the draft. This is coming out of our GMCFL league, which is a FCS college football league. So you'll see some smaller schools for once. And then this will be an interesting draft because there are probably about 3 or 4 generational players. Now, one of the reasons why I kind of traded out of the first round is at the top end, I accidentally saw some things that I shouldn't have seen. So I got out of the first round, and I'm not going to pick those people. But I will say that there are 2 to 3 generational players in this draft, and probably about 5 or 6 day one starters. So I don't think there's going to be any secret about who's going number 1. Marvin Herman, who is the quarterback out of Maryland, and we'll kind of look at that real quick in the war room. Just go Hill. So Marvin Herman is one of the best quarterbacks to come out of the SNCFL in a long time. He is probably equitable to Marcus Witten, but But this is also a year where we have quite a few good running backs coming out. Don't expect to see this next year, but this year there were just a lot of running backs who made it through the filter. Well, cornerback is another area where there's some strength. Linebacker as well, and then at tackles we have a couple really good tackles. There are some places where this draft is going to be really, really weak. Guard and center probably are going to be two of those. Fullbacks stay away from, not that you should be drafting fullbacks in the first round, but strong safety and free safety, once you get past the initial ones, I think you're going to see a pretty steep drop off. So uh, if Kevin's ready to pick, he can go ahead and pick, but it's going to be interesting to see how this first round goes out. So I again, probably no shock as who's about to get drafted at number 1. So I would just let Kevin know he's on the clock. Oh, he already knows. So no surprise there. They're going with Marvin Herman. I don't know why I keep calling Marcus. Probably because of Witten. And we'll click him, and now we will go to draft recap. So Tampa Bay now is on the clock. And I'll just take a look there. But let's take a look at Mr. Herman. Anyone want to take a guess as to what he looks like? Okay. I'll keep that in mind, Peter, when we get there. Just remind me. So Marvin Herman is 100 overall, 98 arm, 94 intelligence, 99 accuracy, 95 endurance. He's got a great work ethic, competitive. He's not really a big leader. Really good QB skills, and he is a driven baller. So Kevin probably has his franchise quarterback for the next few years. And this is a guy who at Maryland won national championships, led many of the categories across SNCFL. And unlike maybe previous Maryland quarterbacks like Witten, he didn't always have the best wide receivers to work with. You have to remember that Nicholas Overstreet, Kobe Tolliver, um, and Jeffrey Roper this year were his main wide receivers throughout his career, whereas Witten had people like Bittner and a bunch of others that are already in the league and established. So Tampa Bay will now be on the clock. Let me just go ahead and put that in chat. But next year, I'll also kind of warn everybody, don't think that there's going to be a lot of top-end quarterbacks next year. And in fairness to this draft, I think Herman is really the only true first-round talent in this year's draft. There's a pretty steep drop-off at quarterback as well, so this will be MBB bets. I don't see him around. I don't know why it's doing that. I don't think we'll go back and look real quick, see if he has one. He doesn't, otherwise it'd look different. So we'll give him a minute or two to take a look and see what he wants to do. Just double check and see. Pop back over here. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. For those of you not aware of the Jets were put in a pretty bad cap situation by the former owner. So Kevin has been trying to deal with that for the last season or two and get him out of a cap situation. So definitely has the right quarterback. Just needs to surround him with some good cheap wide receivers, which he should be able to get. and then we'll see if he will continue the legacy of someone like Ray Spriggs, who was one of the top quarterbacks in the league. Let's see. Let's see, when was the last time he uploaded? Yeah, it's recent. So other quick people that we probably should expect to see in the top 10, and we'll take a look and see what Tampa Bay looks like or what they need. Um, I'm not going to exit because there's a bug within the game where I'll have to make sure we disable the CPU. But in looking at this, definitely maybe like free safety. I think they have a decent quarterback if I remember correctly. So we'll look at that real quick as well. Kevin probably wants me to bounce back and take a look at the great quarterback he has now. But they have, I mean, they could go quarterback hill, but it's not the right draft. I mean, they have Bowser, who's decent. They have really good running backs. A decent fullback, definitely not something to take in this round. They have a decent offensive line. Could use maybe a little bit more speed at tight end, but they have Durden, who's actually pretty good. And then they have decent wide receivers as well. Cornerback is an area because on the NFC South, along with people like Invisible, it's always a good idea to maybe look at getting a better corner that have 90 speed, and there are a couple of those available in this draft. Linebacker wise, I think they're in pretty good shape. Um, they have decent linebackers. Free safety is an area where they could go for depth. Overall, Tampa has a pretty good team, so we'll give him another minute or two, and then I'll potentially make the draft pick, which I hate doing. Yeah, I would agree with that, Stuart. I think tackle would be good, and of course, there's a really good tackle in this draft, or defensive end, and of course, there's a good defensive end. The reason why Stuart's probably saying that is both of them used to play for UCLA, which is his team in essence, CFL. So you have, if I remember correctly, is from a tackle perspective, you have Aaron Freeman, who's probably as good as you're going to get. Now, he's not a power tackle, he's a technique tackle, but it doesn't really matter with how good I think a blocker he is. Um, and then at defensive end would be, let's just see, because I forget his name and I'll get it wrong, is Alfonso Lane, who is a pretty good defensive end. He's pretty strong. I prefer technique tackles over strength tackles. But just double check that. Yeah, I'll take technique tackles most of the days of the week over a strength tackle. If I was running the ball more, maybe. Um, so we'll see if he's come on. I don't see him on. Yeah, he doesn't look like he's on. So, to keep the draft moving, I am going to not let the CPU make the pick because it would pick something he doesn't need. Let me just double check here. 93, 97. I mean, tackle he's pretty set, honestly. Defensive end, he's pretty set. Free safety, you don't use a first round pick on that, so I will give it one more minute, and then I think I will pick. Just make sure I'm looking at the right thing. And truth be told, his linebackers are pretty slow outside of the two, but okay, I am going to make the pick to keep the draft moving. So we are going to pick a cornerback. So he will go with Scott Willow, since that's who they want to go with anyways. And we'll go Hill. Cincinnati Bengals are on the clock. Did the Bengals have? I didn't see one, so. And Cincinnati Bengals are Collie. I don't think Collie City, I think Collie City wasn't able to make it. Yeah, Collie wants to let the CPU pick for him. So we'll take a look. What does he have? And then we'll take a look. I'm probably gonna let CPU just pick because I'm a divisional rival to him. See if he has any blatant needs to make sure. Defensive ends, defensive tackles. He's good at most of those positions. Okay. Let me go ahead and update this channel real quick. I keep forgetting about that. Tampa Bay Slacks. So now we are up to the Washington Commandos, and Udo has a list. So CB, Scott, Will, Cincinnati, selects running back Harry Pape. Excuse me. And I'm going to just do Udo's real quick because Udo has a list. So open war room. Udo is going with Jerry McCulloch. Go Hill. Up next is San Diego, who also has a list. So Washington selects quarterback Jerry McCulloch. Maybe a little bit too early for Jerry, but he had a really good career at Rutgers. Okay, so we'll let San Diego pick, and then I will take a look at these. So Rasheen Self, the running back out of Michigan. San Diego selects running back Rasheen Self. Okay, let's look at these guys. And that means Kevin's back on the board. So Scott Willow, who is out of the FCS, he's out of Harvard. He is 87 overall, 84 agility, 93 speed, 50 tackling, 65 hands, decent endurance, not great. He's a good leader. And he is a cooperative revolutionary out of Harvard. So 83 tackles, 10 interceptions. That may seem low, but bear in mind, GMCFL has only had one season. That's actually pretty good. He had 10 interceptions in a single season. If we look at Harry Pape, who I actually think is the best running back in this draft, it's between him and Rasheen Self, but Harry Pape is 64 strength, 87 agility, 94 speed, 71 hands, 92 endurance. Pretty good work ethic and competitiveness. Just overall, generally good person. He only had 835 rushing yards, but he's one of those guys who's coming out who is a career backup. but just has great skills. So that would be him. Jerry McCulloch, of course, is the quarterback out of Rutgers, who had a really good career: 82 arm, 84 intelligence, 88 accuracy, um, 68 endurance. Pretty good leader, good quarterback skills. Um, had over 13,000 yards, 119 touchdowns. Homely professional. He is a clutch quarterback, so he'll play well at the end of the halves. And then, of course, we have Rasheen Self, who is one of the other good running backs out of Michigan. Really strong runner, very agile, very fast. Hands are a little suspect. Endurance is good. Overall, just good stats. And of course, he ran for over 5,700 yards with 33 touchdowns, and he's a calm enabler. So that brings us to the New York Jets, who are, so Kevin is on the clock. Let him know. And for those wondering, the formula is still the same as it has been. It's just this year coming out, the running backs were pretty godlike, so I had to nerf some of the running backs. Um, but there's probably only like one or two other decent running backs in this draft. It's just those two. Pape, Pape, I tried to nerf at a different point, but I wasn't able to. But this will be like I think this will be like the second year where Michigan running backs went, or maybe the second time in the last 3 seasons that a Michigan running back has won in the first round. You had London, who went to the Steelers previously. Thanks, Gary. That means a lot. One of these days, I'm gonna get you and Frankie back on here. And the Jets take Aaron Freeman. Kind of expected him to go a little bit sooner, but draft. So I think we are now to our first CPU team, if I'm not mistaken. Just double check that and make sure. Yes, they are CPU. And I think that there was a potential draft in play for this. So I'll wait a second on that. Aaron Freeman. So let's see what Kevin got with his second pick in this first top 10. Aaron Freeman, 88 overall, 72 strength, 69 intelligence, 93 pass blocking, 90 run blocking, 81 endurance. Not a leader, but has great work ethic, great competitiveness. Um, he is a calm jester, so he's not going to get rattled very easily, but that's a pretty good tackle. So I'll wait for Peter to go through and do the trade. Okay, so we have. Okay. Peter, since there's no draft picks involved in that trade with San Diego, I'm going to wait until I save so I don't have to drop out of the screen and deal with the bug, if that's okay. Is that the only trade, or is there going to be a trade for New Orleans pick? Okay, I'll wait. Um, so far, I will say Herman is everything we expected him to be. Pape is everything we expected him to be. I think it's a little too early for McCulloch in the top four, but again, Udo knows what he's doing, so I do think McCulloch will grow into being a really quality starter, especially if you're using a West Coast offense. Wheeler, I think, is going to be a good cover safety. He may be a little raw in the first deal. And then Rasheen Self, of course, is moving to Oakland for Theodore Irvin, which I'll process later. So far, I think Kevin's had a pretty good draft. I think, is that all Kevin's picks? I think the only one he has left is Pittsburgh's. Actually, no, he doesn't. He gave that to Houston. So Houston's going to be picking quite a bit in this draft. So I'll just wait for this draft, for this trade, and then I will go ahead and process it, which means I'll have to leave the draft screen. But since I'm processing a trade, it won't flip on me. So, which I'll just go ahead and do that now. So just so everyone understands, the bug I'm referring to is, it actually stayed for once. That's good. Normally what happens is when you exit out, this will flip back to actually auto, and it will mean that I have to worry about dealing with the CPU trying to do trades. So I'm gonna process San Diego's trade while I wait for the trade from Peter. So this is straight up players. Peter gets arguably one of the best running backs. Shades off, Theodore. Just make sure. It's not going to make Stuart very happy that now Peter has one of his beloved Michigan people. And then I suspect this is for New Orleans, so I might as well just go ahead and open this up now. So I think lots of trades today so far. So for those you not aware, is the Jets also traded today to Pittsburgh for their first round this year, next year, or their second. Uh, Torres, who's probably one of the best wide receivers in the league, along with a really good linebacker. So, which would be Joseph Mansfield, who Pittsburgh's wanted him for quite a bit of time, and Adrian Torres just suddenly gives the Steelers a home run threat that they kind of lacked since Wright got old. So it'll be interesting to see how the AFC shapes out. Of course, Peter's trying to move on Andrew Leonard, who's been his longtime running back. He now has Rasheen Self. Lackey is probably not going to be running well this year, which will be probably his last year. But behind him, of course, Pittsburgh has London, who is a Michigan Wolverine, who should start seeing more and more time. He ran for 500 yards in spot duty behind Lackey last year, which is a pretty good thing for someone who didn't see much action because Pittsburgh was always running Lackey. So I see Peter's done this. Check the math real quick, Peter, and then I'll process it. That looks right. Oakland first, Minnesota second. Oh, Peter, all these are this year's draft picks. I need two monitors. Oakland first. When is Oakland going? Okay, so Raiders first round pick, Minnesota second. Okay. Give me 1 second, guys, while I do this. Arizona 3rd, Cardinals 3rd, Oakland 5th, 6th, and 7th. Oakland 5th, no 4th, 6th, and 7th. This is when I am slow. So I apologize for everyone. Trades are always a little bit of a nightmare to deal with. I just have to check the point totals. Oakland has a 29th pick. So that's going to be 203. Seven. It's for pick 7, so 203. 203. Yeah, that drives. Sorry about that. So first, second, third, fifth, sixth, and seventh. And he gets the Saints first. Submit. So let's just make sure one last time that didn't flip. And I'll go back in. And he already picked, so he is picking free safety Bachman, open war room. Who's up after him? Minnesota is up after him. Okay, so Bachman, where are you? So Dick Bachman, the free safety out of Georgia. Minnesota's now on the clock. I believe that's JC. Okay. So let's take a look at him real quick. Draft recap. Dick Bachman, the free safety out of Georgia. 91 speed, 62 tackling, 57 hands, 86 endurance, 79 agility. Really smart player for his position. Strength isn't as good as you'd want for a box safety, but he's not really a box safety. So he's a frantic entertainer. 9 sacks, 1 interception, 201 tackles at one of the best SEC schools in Georgia, who of course is coached by Shark. So now we have JC, who's on the clock. And I believe that's Starfinder, although I think he sent me something. And Kevin, I saw your message, so just let me know once you have something. I think JC sent me something. He did. Which was his tackle, Freeman. So it looks like he's going to go with Ropel. Draft options. Let me make sure I pause the draft. So open more room. Wide receiver. Clear. Wide receiver. So he's going to go with Jeffrey Ropel, who's the wide receiver out of Maryland. Just double check, make sure I'm not missing something. Minnesota takes wide receiver Jeffrey Ropel. Okay, so draft recap. So Jeffrey Ropel is a 6'3", 202-pound wide receiver out of the University of Maryland. 83 overall, 62 agility, 56 intelligence, 94 speed, 90 hands, 91 endurance. Really good in measurables. This is a Gary type player. witty jock. He's a possession wide receiver as well, which means he'll get things off the catch. 152 receptions, 3,619 yards, 49 touchdowns. Was one of the favorite targets for Herman at the University of Maryland. So now he is a Minnesota Viking. Maybe he'll be like Stephon Diggs. So let's go and close him out. So the Atlanta Falcons are now on the clock, but there was a trade that looks like it's about to happen. So I'll just wait for Kevin to give me that. It's okay to say that you don't like certain people being on certain teams. I don't have an issue playing against Bittner at all, who's one of Maryland's best wide receivers that ever came out. Also, Adam Johnson, who's a Maryland quarterback. So, but they're on probably one of the best teams for those styles as a player, so I'm perfectly okay with it. I do think Bachman's a good pickup by Oakland. I think that just makes it better. And of course, getting Rasheen Self is a major pickup for Oakland as well. You're welcome. It's a good wide receiver, JC. Hopefully, you saw his stats. Um, so we're just waiting on a trade for Atlanta's pick. And then, of course, Cotton is up after that. He has a list. And then Houston, Philadelphia, both CPU teams. Then we see Peter again. Then it'll be Templar with Dallas. He has a list. Houston will be up again. Indianapolis is also a CPU team. Then it's going to be Shark. Bama won't be here, I think, for the draft, so he's already given me what he wants. KC is an open team, so they'll be up after that. CPU is open, so Baltimore, and then we got Bio Eagle, DWK. And then we have Prince, open team, Stewart. So, and then of course the New Orleans Saints will pick later, so someone may try to move up and nab that one. By the way, if anyone wants to bid on Torres, I'm open to a pick, but it can't be in this year's draft. Um, so, but I think I'll keep him for now. So Cotton will be coming up soon, right after this pick. Uh, okay, so Atlanta gets. So let me leave the draft screen again. 19. So Jets value is first. Arizona. And you and Peter are just colliding today. 1 second here, let me process this. Right now, it looks like San Diego second. If possible, guys, for the picks, if you can, put what the actual pick is. Like, is it the 10th pick in the draft? Is it the 11th? It just makes it easier on me. So, Arizona. It's 3:15. Okay, so let me just do the math again here real quick. I apologize, everyone. This has been one of the more active ones. So Washington second, they are fourth pick. That's 166. Make me have to open Excel at this rate. Seattle 213. Thank you, Peter. 131. Oakland 229. 86. And Oakland 429. It's 19. Equals sum. $402. Okay, so he's at 402. This is for pick. Which pick is this? Atlanta is pick number 9, so that was well in excess of Atlanta. So I am processing. Peter, it's your pick. Just give me a second to do the trade. So Atlanta, this is between Atlanta and Oakland. So he gets his first. He gives up Washington second. Seattle second. His own second. 242 and his fourth. Okay. Just make sure that's staying. It is. That's good. Okay, so Oakland is now on the clock. Cotton will be up after this. Oakland takes Matt Muse. Just make sure, even though it says it. Okay, Cotton is up. Okay, so draft recap. So Mr. Matthew Muse is a 6'3", 234-pound linebacker out of Kent State. Used to be one of Brian's players when he was playing. So 85 overall, 67 strength, 84 agility, 57 intelligence, 82 tackling, 79 speed, 81 endurance. Pretty decent intangibles, good knowledge of his position, stubborn bottle, more of an inside linebacker than anything. But again, you could also move him to, well, he's got decent strength. You could actually make him a defensive end. And we'll let Cotton have a moment to pick. So far, just quick recap. We had no shock Herman going at number 1. Again, really good quarterback for Kevin to build around. Pretty good character on him too. So he's not someone who's going to cause a lot of problems. Then Tampa Bay took Scott Wheeler, the cornerback out of Harvard. Cincinnati took Harry Pape, the running back out of UCLA. Washington Commanders took quarterback Jerry McCulloch, who is out of Rutgers. San Diego selected Rasheen Self, but then Rasheen Self was traded to Oakland for Theodore Irvin, who is a quarterback out of, that San Diego picked. The Jets, with their second pick, took Aaron Freeman, and we have our pick in now, so I need to pause the draft. So just make sure nothing weird happens. And the Chicago Bears are going to take, let me find them, Luther Ruckel, the cornerback out of Maryland. So go and draft him. And next up will be a CPU, so I will take that pick for them. 2 CPUs unless there's a trade for it. So Cotton Luther Ruckel is a 5'10", 175-pound cornerback, overall 87, strength 46, agility 82, 63 intelligence, 41 tackling, 93 speed, 68 hands, 85 endurance. A little bit of an issue with his personality, cornerback of 100, skill of 100, but definitely someone you can build around. He's a sanctimonious jock, which means no one's gonna like him in the locker room, but he is a really good corner, and as you can see, he had 9 sacks, 12 interceptions, 2 defensive touchdowns. He definitely can blitz from the edge, as well as press, even despite his size. So it's a really good cornerback that you got there. So with Houston, let's see what they need. Okay, go ahead, Kevin. So we may have a trade for this pick. This is probably one of the more active trade drafts that we've had in a while. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see in future drafts with Matt back at Clemson in SNCFL. I do expect them to start building out running backs again. Of course, either next year or the year after, you'll probably see Logsdon come out of Maryland, who is a really good running back. But generally, Georgia, Michigan, Clemson, Louisiana Monroe, UCLA, was Western Michigan, are the teams that traditionally have really good running back cultures. It'll be interesting to see what happens at Maryland because I don't think you're going to see a quarterback for a while out of Maryland because they've missed on quite a few recruiting battles there. But wide receiver wise, Maryland continues to recruit pretty well. So I think wide receiver will continue to be Maryland, linebacker and defense. Of course, Maryland prizes that. But keep an eye on Georgia, Louisiana, Monroe, especially on the line, because they're pretty good as well. So that's 252. Okay, that looks right. 11's 358. 252. 358. It may be a little shy. Let me double check this. First Arizona. I'm going to try to speed this up. Just give me a few minutes. I apologize for all the trades, guys. Kevin, you're about 7 points short. If I'm reading this right, let me double check. Sleep draft screen. Go back to trade players. 9/5, 9/6. Yeah, you're good. Give me a second. I'm gonna process this real quick. So this is Houston with New York. So the Jets get essentially back what was Which pick is this? This was the Jets pick, if I remember correctly. And then he's giving up 2057 picks. So first from Arizona in 2057. Second from Arizona. And then the fifth next deal. Let me just double check and make sure this is all right. Let's see how the 11th pick was the Jets. So 1, 2, 3. That looks right. Submit. Still good. Maybe they fixed it finally. Pause. Okay, you're on the clock, which looks like you already picked. Took Whiteman, who is the running back out of Eastern Washington, who helped lead them to the national title game. So draft John Whiteman. Okay, Shark, you just send it to me, or put it in the completed trades. Mr. Whiteman, 92 overall, 63 strength, 88 agility, 57 intelligence, 92 speed, 53 hands, 66 endurance, 100 running back skill, generally a good personality. He's not a Gary player though because he doesn't have the right team player. Spoiled jock, but he did in one single season run for almost 2,000 yards, and again was the big reason why Eastern Washington made it to the title game. Let me double check this. 117, 317. Let me drop out again. Sign free agents, trade players. This is Philadelphia. Double check the math here in a second. 117. In order to get 112, you need to hit 347. That's 296. Plus 55. This feels like an old Skeletal draft at this point. He easily hits it. That's yours. So let me go back here. So Eagles send the first round pick for the Patriots first and our third. Make sure that's all right. First and third for second that. Submit trade. Advance. And he picked William Bork. Open war room. Let's see, pause draft. Wide receiver. Cleo, wide receiver. The wide receiver out of Duke. Draft. I see Peter is on the clock. So go back. He's taking Sam Key. I can just take both of these out real quick. So draft Sam Key. And now we have Dallas up. Dallas does have a list. Just make sure. Open war room. Draft Jeffrey Reed. Okay, we'll take a look at all three of these real quick. Cowboys select running back Jeffrey Reed. Okay. So we have Mr. Bork for New England, 76 overall, 74 agility, 94 speed, 81 hands, 72 endurance. Generally not a team player, but he does have good skill set, 78. He is a possession wide receiver, so he'll get a boost. Average professional, pretty good career for Stewart at Duke. Intelligence is pretty low, and he's a 6'4", 208, which is pretty good size for a wide receiver. Sam Key, who's out of Maryland, 6'2", 204 strong safety. 87 overall, 60 strength, 86 agility, 62 intelligence, 91 speed, 58 tackling, 56 hands, 63 endurance. Okay in that bucket, but knows his position very well. He is a polite doofus. Don't know that I would call someone a polite doofus in a pick, but we'll see. And now we will see what Jeffrey Reed looks like, who goes to the Cowboys. 98 overall, 80 strength, 91 agility, 71 intelligence, 93 speed, 51 hands, 78. Not a team player by anything. He's got some morale issues, which that'll be interesting. Frantic workaholic, decent quill. I think he only really played one year at Washington State, but that's pretty decent. So make sure nobody is going after this. So Houston is on. I'm going to pick for them before someone else tries to make me do another trade. So if you're going to do it, you should tell me now. Otherwise, I'm going to pick for Houston. Houston is going to take, they have Bates. I don't need a quarterback, and I wouldn't take a quarterback in the first round after the top two have went off. Running backs, they could use a running back, but those are off the board. Guards, got a good line, good line. Too many centers. Who's a CP you want to take? Yeah, there's no way in hell they're taking Buckle. Let's see, speed. They could use a wide receiver actually. Cornerback, they're pretty good. Not really. Linebacker, they're slow. They're gonna take a linebacker. Who do I have on top of my board for linebacker? They'll take Brendan Hogan. So draft Braden. So this now brings us to Indianapolis, who, if I remember correctly, is not. Just check them real quick to make sure I'm not overpicking. Let's go Hill. Texans take linebacker. And then I'll show you guys these things. They don't really need a quarterback. They're good though. Running back's decent. Fullbacks are decent. The line is kind of bad. But they have a lot of linemen. Have to fix that in the offseason. Could take a tight end, but think it's still too soon. Speed, they could use a wide receiver. They're good on the outside. They're good on the inside. Yeah, it's wide receiver, I think, for them. So they will take a wide receiver. Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting thing because Merriman is like a really good running back. So is Reed, and unless you're gonna like do a 1-2 punch, I'm not sure why you. Yeah, I'll leave that alone. Wide receiver. What am I looking for? Big board. Where are you? Top wide receiver was Wopo. He's off the board. Bork's off the board. Who was the next big wide receiver? Was Larson. Draft options over more room. They don't need another center. They have like 10 million of them. So Allison, take Larson, who's out of Stephen F. Austin, and go Hill. Colts take Dennis Larson. This brings up the Eagles. So I will take a look at them real quick. But let's look at these two real quick. So Hogan, Is an 82 overall, 54 strength, 80 agility, 85 tackling, 87 speed, 40 hands, 65 endurance. Generally good personality, 99 knowledge of his position. He's a workout fanatic, which means he'll get more physically better, and an helpful extrovert. So really good pick for the Texans. The Colts took Lawson, who is a 85 overall, 70 agility, 91 speed, 81 hands, 94 endurance. Okay, he's not really a team player, but he has other good skills, knows his position extremely well, and is an inquisitive athlete. So he's out as Stephen F. Austin, so that's a good thing for them. Let's see here. I don't think anyone's going for this pick, so we'll go back, and this is the Eagles. What do they need? I don't think they need a quarterback. It's a really bad reach to take a quarterback. Yeah, they definitely don't need a quarterback. They still have Dudley. They have good running backs. The line is okay. Tight end is, I mean, they could use a tight end, but let's see if they have any more immediate needs. They have two decent wide receivers, although the receivers are slow. They're really slow in the secondary. Who to take for the Eagles? They definitely don't need that, so they are going to take I think he's the highest rated. So take Timothy Davidson. Select Timothy Davidson. So that brings up the Tennessee Titans. Bama is not Hill. So Bama wanted to get defensive tackle, tight end. I think it's way too early to take Ayers. So Titans take tight end Sean Ostrander. Which brings up Kansas City, who last I checked is also on CPU. Too many windows. So we'll take a look here real quick. I'm trying to get quickly, just so everyone knows, I'm trying to get to Cleveland quickly so that Mike is able to make his pick. So I'm probably just going to go straight into Kansas City and to Baltimore, who are both CPU teams. Check all. Let me just double check and make sure I'm not missing something. Still, yeah, they'll take offensive lane. Let's make sure nothing strange happened. Baltimore, open more room, draft. Okay, so Chiefs will take defensive end Alfonso Lane. Ravens take center Jonathan Stern at bio. Okay. So we'll take a look at those guys real quick. Bring this back up. So we are now, we'll look at Davidson. Davidson, 84 overall. He's a 6 foot, 182-pound cornerback out of Boise State. 87 agility, 88 speed, 64 hands, 43 tackling, 62 endurance. Generally not a great personality. He's a sanctimonious extrovert, which is a nice way of saying he's a narcissist. But he is a slot corner. He's got good speed. He'll definitely play well in the slot. That's a pretty good pickup for the Eagles. Yeah, I can do that real quick. Just give me a second, bio. Sean Ostrander, the 6'6", 240-pound tight end out of Maryland, 84 overall, 63 strength, 66 agility, 67 intelligence, 89 speed, 79 hands, 48 run blocking, 68 endurance. He's pretty good in most of that. Careful trailblazer. Big tight end with good hands. Kansas City took, of course, Alfonso Lane, who is out of UCLA. 89 strength. He's one of the stronger defensive ends in this draft. 62 intelligence, 70 speed, 57 tackling, 61 endurance. Good skills, outspoken, and he's a bull rusher, and he definitely has a strength. If you give me a second, bio, I will quickly update it because it's about the time I should do it anyways. And then Jonathan Stern goes to the Ravens, 91 overall, 83 strength, 61 intelligence, 61 speed, 80s for the pass blocking, 74 endurance. Generally a good personality, knows his position well, and he's an athletic blocker. I'm going to really quickly upload this. So Ostrander, pretty decent, not as great as I thought he would be. But I think Alfonso Lane actually is pretty good. Should be able to maybe put some pressure on Adam Johnson and on Ron Baker out in the AFC West, although I'm pretty sure Peter's linemen will probably just knock him to the ground. I forgot to turn off the pictures, so I'll do that next time. The good news is I have fast internet, so it should be done in a second. So far out of all the people, is everyone happy with who they picked? I imagine Kevin is very happy with his 2 picks or 3 picks, I think. Burke was not as good as I thought he would be, but he's still decent. And I think the only other person who stands out is I strongly suspect Peter's going to move his linebacker, Muse, over to defensive end or put him on the line. Yeah, well, I've just gotten used to it at this point, Stuart. There's nothing says being happy with having someone you coached in college beat you in the pros. So, for those of you also interested, SNCFL has openings for the college game if you want to follow a favorite player. GMCFL also has openings. Bio, it's up to date. So we'll just check this real quick, and it's still good. So far, I think if I look at the draft, it goes without saying that Herman probably is the best pick in the draft. Great value for Peter and getting Self. but I do like how the Jets have drafted so far with Herman and Freeman. I think that they've done well. Peter picked up a much needed addition to our secondary. I do like JC's pick with Vopel. Um, I like Cotton's pick for Ruckel because he gets a press corner for trying to deal with his competitors up in the north. Does Whiteman, sorry, is a good addition to the Jets as well, especially as Brian is aging. Um, and then you definitely a little bit of a controversy because again the Cowboys have Merriman, who is a really good running back. I should pause that. And then of course you have Alfonso Lane going to the Chiefs, which is probably a good pick for them as well. So overall, not many misses in the thing. I do think McCulloch's drafted a little bit too high. But again, if you need a quarterback, you're going to go after him in the hopes that you get him. And I do think he's going to develop into probably a really good quarterback. So Cincinnati, I'm not looking forward to dealing with Pape twice a season. The Ravens, Stern will help the offensive line. Now see what the Browns do. One of the other competitors. After the Browns is DWK with Green Bay, then Prince, then CPU, Stewart. I think, if I remember correctly, the Bills have a coach now. No, they don't. That's why it was Cincinnati that has a coach. So it'll be CPU for Buffalo. Then Detroit will be Superman, followed by New Orleans, who's CPU, and then Invisible CPU, and then of course our champion Barry. So it looks like we have the pick. Let's open up the war room. Let's take guard Jesus Travis, who's one of the better guards in the draft. He's out of Louisiana Monroe. He is one of Skelter's crew. So now we'll go to the draft recap, and it will put DWK on the clock. I think so, right? Am I wrong? Yeah, it's DWK. I think Green Bay, I didn't see a list for them. So we shall take a look at Jesus. 87 overall, 75 strength, 39 agility, 70 intelligence, 52 speed, good 80s in blocking, endurance 84, good personality, good skill. He's a workout fanatic, which means his physical skills will get better. He's a driven performer. Really good pick. Probably, it's a toss-up between him and the kid out of Rutgers for who's the better guard. It's not a particularly deep guard class, but that's a good pick. And linebacker Stephen Lilly is up next. Cleo, linebacker. Lilly is Alabama. Okay, so put Prince on the clock. I'll give him a few minutes while we look at this one. So DWK, your pick was Stephen Lilly, who I think was one of the better linebackers in this draft outside of Hogan. 78, 57 strength, 67 agility, 47 intelligence, 77 tackling, 84 speed, 55 hands, 81. Not exactly a team player, but he's got good other skills. He's a zealous performer. Um, Definitely a good outside linebacker. Um, so solid pick for this late in this round. We'll give Prince a minute or two. This is always like the hardest time in the draft for me because most by the time that I get to the end, I think Invisible's had this, Peto's had this problem. Peto will move up though a lot of times. But for those who draft on the back end of the draft, it's normally you're just looking for best value. Um, because most of the really good people are probably gone. Now, there's still defensive tackle, the best defensive tackle is still on the board, the best defensive end. We haven't really seen many guards or tackles go, but again, it is a weaker class. So if we look at the big board real quick, Herman's off, Freeman's off, Self's off, Ruckles off, Lane's off, Hogan's off, Pape, Roble, Jermaine Phillips, the quarterback out of Georgia, is still around. You have German Stroud, the guard out of Rutgers, who is around. I think he's an elite pass blocker. I could be wrong on that, but he does play smart. I think the big issue with him is his durability. You have Morrow Booker, who's the quarterback out of Duke. This late in the first round, it may be a time to take a risk at quarterback. You have Frank Joyner, who's the defensive end out of UC Davis, who's fast, smart, he hits hard. Uh, Only concern with him is his strength. You have Joe Faust, the tackle out of Washington State, who's pretty big. He's a good pass blocker. Again, durability is going to be a concern with him as well. You have a strong safety, Charles Perkins out of UCLA. Good size, fast, strong hands. His agility is not all that good from what I saw in college. If you're looking for a tight end, Ernest Riggs is another guy to take a look at. He's a tight end out of Southern. He's pretty fast. He's sure-handed. His the quality of competition for him was probably pretty low. You have Corey Nelson, the tackle out of Rutgers, is still around. James Spriggs, who in my mind is the best defensive tackle, but it's a toss-up between him and Alex Ayers. Probably good picks for this point as well. If you're looking for a free safety, Minka Lawless is around as well. And then really you have Adam Faison, who's the guard out of Iowa State, who's pretty good too. So don't think that Prince is Hill, so we're going to go ahead and draft. Don't know that the CPU, I'm pretty sure that's a CPU since he didn't have a list. It's not a horrible one. Okay, we'll go ahead and pick. So we'll take a look Hill and the Giants, who are CPU on the clock. Broncos select cornerback Jeremy Christie. The Giants, who have another Maryland legend at quarterback with Marcus Witten, who has continually got himself in trouble every season. Now on the clock, they probably need line help. The receivers have gotten better. They do need a cornerback, though. Check. We're gonna go corner. They'll take Jermaine Phillips. So draft Giants select cornerback Jermaine Phillips, who is the really good one out of Georgia. So up next is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's pop back over here and take a look at them real quick. For those who are wondering, the reason why I try to do the draft picks for the CPU is the CPU overdrafts certain positions. really badly, and people get left with really bad components for a team, they're going to take a linebacker. More room. Who was on my big board for linebacker? Actually, I don't think they should take a linebacker, but linebacker is what they need, so I'm just going to let the CPU pick. Draft recap. So we are now to Stewart in the 49ers. Let's take a look at these guys real quick. Okay, so Jeremy Christie, the 6'2", 183-pound cornerback out of Louisiana Tech, 83 agility, 55 intelligence, 88 speed, 73. Not generally really good stats, but he is a slot corner, so that will definitely help play out. Mary Dixon. I'll take a look at him in a second. Up next after him, the Giants took Jermaine Phillips, who's a 6 foot tall, 182-pound cornerback out of Georgia, 83 agility, 52 intelligence, very fast, 94 speed, 66 hands, decent, not really a team player, but knows his position, a workout fanatic, and determined entertainer. And then Howard Ivy was taken by the Jaguars. Pretty decent inside linebacker, could also move the line based on his strength. And he is a polite workaholic. The 49ers are taking Cleo, free safety, Dixon. Mary Dixon. I don't know. Are we talking about the same person, Stuart? Because Mary Dixon's out of Youngstown State. Just to make sure. Because he's one of the GMCFL folks. Okay. Mary Dixon. We will go ahead and pick him. And up next is the Buffalo Bills, who I will pick for real quick. For those of you who may be interested in joining the league, the Bills are actually a pretty good team if you wanted to enter the league. The only problem is you have to play Kevin, Soa, and Shark twice a year. So if you want to join, I'll join now while Kevin is still rebuilding. Because once he gets that rebuild job done, he will probably start challenging Shark. 90. Of course, the Bills won this division last year, so again, you'd get it. They need a corner. Check all. Next best corner that I said was out there was. Just go to corner. Go to the big board. Wide receiver, centers, guards, tackles, cornerback. He's off, he's off, he's off. He's off, all of them off. Okay. Probably not a good idea to take a corner. Could be wrong. So, linebacker is another area that they need some help. They're good on the line. They're good. They do need a strong safety, but they got a good one already. quarterback. Who's a quarterback? Oh yeah, they have long, so they definitely don't need help though. Draft recap. So now up is the Detroit Lions. So, which they had a list. So, let's see if he's on just by chance. He is. Okay. So let's look at Mary Dixon. Any thoughts about what you think he is, Stuart? I know. I won't make you wait anymore. 80 overall, 55 strength, 80 agility, 66 intelligence, 69 tackling, 81 speed. He's essentially a box safety. So box safety with a witty jest or so. He also probably could make the adjustment to strong safety if he wanted to because of his skill. But definitely a box safety. Buffalo Bills, Ralph Rodriguez, 84 speed, 92 agility. He's more of a slot corner out of Monmouth, even though it says he's a press corner. So he has the skills where he could actually get better with speed and stuff. So Detroit. Has Vincent Allison. He had a thing. I'll give him a moment, see if he wants to jump on and choose. Who's after Detroit? New Orleans, and then Invisible. We are almost done. I don't think that there's any shock so far about who hasn't went. If we look at the big board, the highest rated player who has not been drafted is German Stroud, the guard out of Rutgers. Drew Ross, defensive tackle. More room. Check all. Okay, defensive tackle. Lance, select, Ross. And this will bring up, we'll get there in a second, New Orleans. What does New Orleans need? The Saints need. I have Barham, so although he's getting old, they definitely don't need a running back. They take German Stroud. And Invisible is finally up. Visible, I would trade you, but I gave mine up earlier so for a pretty good deal. So we'll take a look at the two guys while we see if there's a trade. So Detroit took Drew Ross, the 6'2", 297-pound defensive tackle out of Oregon State. He is 80 overall, 82 strength, 51 agility, 53 intelligence, 67 tackling, 53 speed, 40 hands, 64 endurance, got good skills, knows his position, and he's a cooperative jock, and he had 12 sacks, so decent pick for Detroit. The Saints took guard German Stroud out of Rutgers. 73 overall, 53 strength, 48 agility, 67 intelligence, 43 speed, 90 pass blocking, 80 run blocking. Really good skills. Doesn't know his position as well as he should, but he'll get the athletic blocker on his other entertainer. So now we are up to Carolina, and I know he is trying to move. So if we look at the big board one more time, from big board perspective, the highest rated player left on the board is at number 14 is quarterback Mo Burko out of Duke. Accurate quarterback with a decent arm, smart, sees the field well, but he's not very mobile. Next up on the defensive side would be Frank Joyner, the defensive end out of UC Davis, who is fast, he's smart, he hits hard, has good durability and a strong first step. The only concern with him is his strength. He's notoriously weak. So we will wait and see if something materializes. After this will be Houston, and then of course Barry will go last with the Los Angeles Rams. And I need to check. I think Barry sent me a list. He did not. So this is taking a little bit longer because we had a lot of trades today. So between Peter and Kevin, they both moved up to grab people. So far, if I had to say who's having the best draft, it's probably Kevin, who really made the most of all three of his picks. You could argue that instead of taking Whiteman, he could have taken Reed, but still, he's gotten really good value on all three of his picks. The only pick of Peter's I don't love is the Muse one, but if he moves him over to defensive end, it makes sense. So the linebacker Jamal Levitt. Okay, let me process that for you. So he is the linebacker out of Louisiana State. We'll show him in a second. Up next is the Houston Texans. Who's CPU on a draft? They really don't need a quarterback, computer. Go back to Houston real quick. They're going to take a tight end. So they will take this kid from Southern. Helps if I take off linebacker. Yeah. I have on my big board. Shundon Lewis, Landrum. And this will bring up Texans take I don't think Barry's on. He has a list though. Yeah, he has a list. Okay. that will conclude this round. Let me get back over here. Let's take defensive tackle. Okay. Alex Ayers. Okay, so we are now through the end, so we'll take a look at Jamal Levitt, the linebacker that Carolina took, 82 overall, 79 agility, a little bit weak with 55, decent intelligence, really good tackle, 80 speed, 77 endurance, really good personality, good linebacker. He's a coverage linebacker, driven workaholic. Houston took Stephen Landrum, 81 speed, 78 hands, really good blocker. 69 strength, so he can hold up well. 57 intelligence is 58. Um, so bio is he's a workout fanatic, and then the last pick was for Barry was Alex Ayers, who's 83, 86 strength, 58 in agility, 64 tackling, 60 speed, 79, 99 good personality, and he's a bit of a performer. So that will wrap up the first round. Just general reminder, you can do scouting. So if you want to do scouting for the second round, go ahead and do that. Also, just in general, if you want to make trades, post them in completed trades, and I will take a look at them and go ahead and process them before I run it. We will be running a list for the next round. I will put the player cards in the channel so everyone can see it. And what we can discuss is for next season potentially moving to a just draft in general and just keep it going until the end. So just a quick recap, Marvin Herman went number 1 as expected. Number 2 went to Scott Willow, cornerback out of Harvard. Third pick was Harry Pape, who's the running back went to Cincinnati. He's out of UCLA. Jerry McCulloch went at number 4, who's the Rutgers quarterback. Rasheen Self was selected by San Diego and then promptly traded to Oakland for quarterback Theodore Irvin. And then a lot of trades in this round went through, but you saw Aaron Freeman move next, followed by Dick Bachman. Jeffrey Roper, the wide receiver out of Maryland, went to Minnesota. Matthew Muse, the linebacker out of Kent State, went to Oakland off a trade. Luther Rucker, the Maryland quarterback, went to Chicago. John Whiteman, the running back out of Eastern Washington, went to New York. New England traded up to get William Bork, the wide receiver out of Duke. Oakland traded to get Sam Key, the strong safety from Maryland. And Cowboys selected Jeffrey Reed, who may be one of the better himself and Pape are probably the 3 top running backs in the draft. The Texans took linebacker Braden Hogan out of, if I remember correctly, he's out of Miami, Florida. I'm going to just hit the human ones. Tight end Sean Ostrander out of Maryland went to Tennessee. Bio Eagle took guard Jesus Travis out of Louisiana Monroe. DWK took Stephen Lilly, the linebacker out of Alabama. Prince took Jeremy Christie, the cornerback out of Louisiana Tech. Mary Dixon, the free safety from Youngstown State, went to San Francisco. And then Detroit selected defensive tackle Drew Ross. And then Carolina took linebacker Jamal Levitt. And we ended the round with defensive tackle Alex Ayers. So overall, I think really good draft. Not many busts in the first round. There may be one or two. Um, Probably, and I hate to call him a bust because I don't think he's going to be a bust. I just think it was a little high to take McCulloch, but I do think in the long run he's going to turn out to be a really good quarterback. I mean, just look at that face. So maybe a little bit too early at number 4 spot. I think that the other one, pending a move, Muse may have been drafted too high, but again, Peter will figure that out. He most always does. And then I think really one of the kind of maybe, actually, there aren't many other ones out there. So I think overall, really good first round. It's going to be interesting to see what Kevin does. Really good first round for Kevin. He definitely stockpiled the picks and made the most of them. So the only other big trade was, of course, Rasheen Self to Oakland from San Diego for Theodore Irvin. Before the day began, Pittsburgh traded away its picks and picked up Adrian Torres, the wide receiver from the New York Jets, as well as a really good linebacker who I'll remember his name in a little bit. But great first round. Thank you all for hanging in. Went a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but I think that's it for now, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I'll give draft grades for the first round sometime later, but thank you for just making this a really good draft. We will be running the second round, if I remember correctly. I see there's already one trade, which I may just process that before I put this up. I think the second round will run on, actually I said today. We're going to change that a little bit. Second round will run on, I'm going to shift things just a little bit and I'll figure it out. Second round will run on Monday to give people time to get their lists in, and then I'll just update the schedule. If you want to continue to draft, I will leave the draft board open, but let's just assume that since it's a list draft, that the draft second round will be on Monday. Again, thanks everyone. Thanks for your time, and next year I will get Gary and Frankie to join me, so that way you have the dynamic, you have the Tilburg threesome together. Probably won't do Skelter because I like my YouTube channel and want to keep it. So if you have any thoughts, let me know. Otherwise, have a great night, and we'll talk to you all soon.